Your red lights ain't never slowing me down. Oh no.
Hello world, Greg Moore here with Cinemaboyz.com. We've been invited up to New York by Ryan Leslie, music composer, genius, Harvard grad, and filmmaker. We're going to be talking to him about his filmmaking career. Stay tuned.
My passion, the reason for my existence. My success, the product of my persistence. Self-made, I did it with no assistance. Girl, you're the one I put the rock on. You're my diamond girl. You're the one that I quit the game for. Get them hands up, get them hands up. Stacking dollars, homie, get them grands up. Keep them hands up, put them in the air. Close your eyes, imagine that you're a millionaire. You made a difference. And I'ma be about it before they even think about it. Said I'ma be about it.
What we want to talk about today is your creativity as a filmmaker. And what we wanted to know was, during your days at Harvard, were you inspired to do film then, or did you get inspired to do film after Harvard?
I would say I was inspired by film and to do film, just as a youth in general. I always thought everything was a movie. I thought everything's better. And, I think there's a lot of kids that just feel like everything's better in the movies. There's a certain utopia that happens. There's a suspension of what your restrictions are in terms of your imagination. And so from a very early age, I just knew that I did want to make films. Being in college, the barrier to entry in terms of equipment and financing that was necessary to make a film was infinitely higher than what it is now. And so as the technology enabled me to bring some of my visions to life using, modern DSLR cameras and cinema lenses and prime lenses, that's when I became more and more excited about what was possible as a novice filmmaker, and I became more and more excited about taking the creative process from the film perspective into my own hands. Film is also just now, it's so closely associated with music, and it's so closely associated with how you express your music. So it's almost like when I started making records, there were producers with whom I wanted to work, and when I looked at their producer fees and the fees associated with the studios in which they worked, everything was just way beyond the scope of what I had at my disposal from a financial standpoint. Just couldn't afford it. And, being a student of film, music videos, short films, I always wanted to put these kinds of projects together and just realized that beyond being a producer, which I could do everything in-house just in one room, I needed to be able to put together great teams, whether cinematography, lighting directors, gaffers, PAs on set, editors, color correctors, post-production effects, coordinators, producers to get the locations, everything, So, it's an entirely different process, and I'm still learning the process, honestly. But I've been inspired to do it, like I said, since being a youth, so way before going to Harvard.
Okay, so you would say was it Was it the music that led the inspiration? Was it seeing a director, or did you see a movie and say, man, I gotta do something like that?
Michael Jackson, man, you know, his music videos were always on another level. I mean, in addition to his music, in addition to his live performances, his expression visually, he just was the ultimate child. And what I mean by that is that his imagination was really unrestricted, and that, you know, he had that luxury because he had the attention of the entire world on his every creative move. And so that meant that really the sky was the limit in terms of his access to capital to bring the ideas that he had to life on screen and on record and on stage. And so that's really the dream that I think everyone is chasing, if you're an artist, to have the access to capital. And when I say artist, I'm talking about if you're an architect, if you're a painter, if you're a software designer, if you're whatever it is, whatever your creative outlet is, you're always just looking for the freedom financially to bring your vision to life. And so having an example like Michael Jackson, who could stop regularly programmed television and just premiere his, you know, his music video right in the middle of the night, you know, cut off the Cosby Show, you know, watching Michael Jackson videos. It's just, you know, this is, and this was possible. You know, he's a guy just like you or I, you know. So yeah, that's really what that's really one of my first inspirations.
I wanted to take it back a little bit, man. You did something that was really innovative. You did a video on YouTube of a beat you were making, and you bought a horn. And I thought that was cool to have the idea. You know, I don't know if you were directing those videos then, or if you were, you know, just you had somebody filming them and you were shooting ideas back and forth. But the way you did the video, man, you actually were making the beat and you had someone deliver a horn.
All of my films, honestly, and I was just speaking to a partner of mine, all of my films are very strongly entrenched in real life and capturing real life and presenting real life, mostly because the imagination and sort of fantasy concepts that I have are very expensive. So, you know, for me it was about, okay, how can I still tell a story, and how can I still tell a compelling musical story just based on what was happening in real life. And so I knew that I could have a messenger drop off the horn, and I said, yeah, we're just going to do this, and we'll film it all, and I think people will be engaged. I think they'll be captivated, and I think that this will spark conversation. For me as a filmmaker, it's about expressing your point of view in the most compelling fashion possible. And so that's really what that was about. You know, from that to the music videos for Less is More, it's just all very much about capturing and reflecting just my life and having that on record, and attaching that to another form of expression, which was the music that drove each one of those visuals. It
wasn't just about a story being told. It was equally about the music as well. What you're doing is something that really hasn't been done before in so many ways. Mm-hmm. Basically, you're taking, reality time as it is now.
Yeah.
And you're creating something in that amount of time. But at the same time, you're making sure that the music, as it's created sonically, is progressing the story simultaneously, instead of traditional music videos or a musical film where the music is made, and that music that's made, there's a story about that music once it's done. It's at the same time, it's like reality TV mixed with music, mixed with composition, mixed with editing, live. Mm-hmm. And then when it's shot out on the internet, people are like, whoa, they're a part of it. You know, it's a new feeling. It's its own subgenre, literally. And I like to call it music film. You know, do you agree with that?
Since the less is more videos, you'll see that the end credit or the first end credit is always a music motion picture by Ryan Leslie, and that's really what that's really the concept. That's exactly the concept that I had, which is, you know, the music being a vehicle, and the motion picture being a vehicle to express the music.
I really like your recent video, the Black Mozart short film.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that. I mean, when I watched it, I felt like it was addiction, you know, where you had, you know, you're getting on the drums, you're getting on the keys, and you're, you know, really progressing the story and the music at the same time. But in Black Mozart, you were also you added an extra element, the emotion in there. You know, when you're doing a video, what's your creative process like? Do you write a storyboard? Do you write treatments? Do you have a script?
Yeah, we have a loose, for Black Mozart, we had a loose outline of you know, locations and scenarios. With the extemporaneous nature of the filming, we're also just extremely flexible as to where the story could lead us, because really we always just want the most compelling story. So being in Vienna and going out that night, and then my interaction with Safia, who was actually working that night, and then inviting her to the studio and just watching, you know, just filming everything and watching everything as it unfolded. You know, the story took a romantic turn, which I thought was compelling to viewers. So yeah, we have a loose skeleton, so to speak, of shooting locations and, you know, who we're going to invite into the studio, and because logistically we got to plan those details. But we're really allowed to be open and extemporaneous.
Would you say that there is a Ryan Leslie style, or are you still developing your own?
I mean, I think all art is it's inspired by that which an artist has seen and experienced. So, I mean, I think the Ryan Leslie style is, you know, the fact that I'm actually in there, and I'm actually you know, in many senses, the protagonist of the film, you know. And it's yet to be seen whether or not I can apply this to the creative processes of others.
Do you plan on any feature films?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Once again, for me, I'm consistently diversifying my entrepreneurial endeavors and interests so that we can generate income from many different streams, so that I can apply those streams to the advancement of my creative expression. And so, you know, I have several concepts for feature films. In many ways, a feature film, what's spent on a feature film is, you know, the retirement dreams of, you know, hundreds of people. When you talk about $100 million budget for a feature film, you know, whether it be something that's, you know, as fantastic as like a Harry Potter, or something that's more of a biopic like The Wolves of Wall Street. So yeah, I definitely have some feature film concepts, and I just like to have the autonomy to still be able to bring the ideas which I have to life, irrespective of having investment. So just because I believe that there are a lot of restrictions as well that come with investment, many times creative restrictions, which I'm vehemently opposed to. So, yeah.
Cool, man. We appreciate you, Ryan.
All right, thank
you for interviewing with Cinema
All right,
Boys.
appreciate it.
It's a blessing to come out and meet you, man.
You got it.
We really do.
Thanks.